The clock strikes midnight, and the fireworks light up the night in a dazzling display. But amidst the celebrations, one firework, the remarkable rocket, is far from remarkable. Let's dive back into the tale where we left off, as the rocket's misadventures continue. The royal pyrotechnist creates a spectacular show. Catherine wheels whirl, Roman candles boom, and the fire balloon ascends, sending sparks flying in the air. But there's one exception, the remarkable rocket. Damp from crying and with wet gunpowder, the rocket remains grounded. It's the only firework that doesn't launch. Its best feature, the gunpowder, useless. But the rocket remains unfazed. The workmen, unbothered by the rocket's pride, throw him into a muddy ditch. He, of course, thinks he's been sent away to recover, imagining this muddy place is a fashionable resort. He can't fathom that he's been abandoned. And so, the rocket meets a peculiar companion, an overly chatty frog who praises his voice and invites him to a glee club. But the rocket isn't interested in listening, and instead, he rants about his greatness. The rocket, so full of himself, doesn't even notice the frog's sarcastic remarks. All he cares about is himself, believing he's destined for greatness, while the frog heads off to a much more peaceful life. Soon, a duck arrives, pointing out the rocket's uselessness. But the rocket, ever arrogant, brushes off the duck's criticisms and continues to preach about his brilliance, convinced that he's above any kind of work or practical use. Even the duck, who finds solace in the simple life, can't bear the rocket's delusions. She swims away, and the rocket is left to his thoughts, believing the world simply isn't ready for his genius. But the rocket's final fate is sealed when two boys, oblivious to his grand speeches, mistake him for an old stick and toss him onto a fire. As the fire begins to catch, the rocket, with all his delusions intact, thinks he's finally going to soar to unimaginable heights. But something isn't quite right. With a loud bang, the rocket explodes, but there's no one there to witness his grand finale. No cheering crowds, no admiring gazes, just silence and a lonely stick falling into the water. And that, dear friends, is how the remarkable rocket met his end. A firework destined for greatness, but too full of pride to see the simple truth. Sometimes greatness is found in humility, not in self-importance. Perhaps the rocket could have learned that, had he not been so caught up in his own explosion of ego. Join us next time for the final chapter of The Remarkable Rocket. Will he ever learn the value of humility, or will he remain the same, lost in his grand delusions?